diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
As long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. I will survive. I will survive. Yeah, yeah. There you are. There you go. There's your singing, Amber. I hope that's you that's here because you're the one that got the singing. I'd do something. I'm fucking Grumposaurus. I am Angry Cat today. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I just got to work through it. So, anything that really needs to be discussed here. I do know this. The heat needs to be turned down. It's freaking hot. It is hot. So, I'm going to turn on my number one fan. I got more stuff. Oh, just in time. We're going to open it right here. Live. Thank you, sweetie. All right. Well, my bonus daughter's dropped off a package here, so you see what's in it. Some money, man. Some money, man. Probably has to do with I kind of already know what it is. So, because he said he was sending them. Oh, I got more stickers. Amber, when you come by, I got a shit ton of these stickers if you want one. In fact, I pulled one aside. It's a little thing. There is a blue protective film on each sticker that can be removed. It's just there to prevent scratches during shipping. Enjoy the waterproof stickers. All right. Feels like something else is in here. Ooh. Oh, I got some Monty Man pens. I must be a part of the show now. I must really be a part of the show if I'm getting all this. All right. Thanks, Monty. You made my day. Just cheered me up. Yeah. I'm having company over, and I don't want to be Mr. Grumposaurus. So, all right. There's one. My man. And there's another sticker. That came to believe sticker. All right. Happy Saturday to everyone. Ooh, little puppies. Puppies, puppies, puppies. Puppies, puppies. But I don't have a little dog named Toto. It's just a song from way back when. That was on the Dr. Demento show. Yeah. That's all I remember. Puppies, puppies. Something about a little dog Toto. All right. All right. More. Oh, man, that is very sticky. All right. More trash on the table. I'll have to clean this up in a little bit. Got too much stuff on my table. All right. Let's get into, you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Time for Dion's Daily Funnies.
The jokes are questionable, but the commitment is strong. So stick around, it won't take long.
All right. She said it won't take long, but that really depends on how many I do. All right. I keep looking for jokes around alcoholism. None of them are really that, honestly, they're not that good. We can go. We probably come up with some of our own that are much better. Right. Here's one for you. Have you ever seen the Al-Anon handshake? I'm shaking my finger at the camera right now for the Al-Anon handshake. I was gonna go to Procrastinators Anonymous. Yeah, but I just couldn't find the time. Mm-hmm. You know how we know AA is not a cult? Because people in cults do what they're told. Yeah. I was gonna go to Paranoids Anonymous, but yeah, they wouldn't tell me where the meeting was at. We can go on, but we're gonna do these jokes now. All right. Do you want a box for your leftovers? No, but I'll wrestle you for them. That car looks nice, but the muffler seems exhausted. Had his job on. A quick shout out to my fingers. Yeah, I can count on all of them. You know, people say they pick their nose, but I kind of feel like I was born with mine. I'm not gonna tell my grandkids that one. If a child refuses to nap, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Yes, yes, they're guilty of resisting arrest in its literal sense. All right, that's it for Dion's Daily Funnies. Today's topic is the matter of fear. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into it.
Time to get into it. No more playing through it. This is where it starts to matter. Let's get into it.
All right, we're gonna get into it. The matter of fear. I am reading from The Language of the Heart, which is several grapevine readings by our co-founder, Dr. Bill W. Whatever. He wasn't a doctor. Our co-founder, Bill W. W. I'm just trying to get in a better mood. And I can get in a better mood by stemming. So, all right. Oh, you guys want to see something cute? I want to show you something cute. It was popped up. This was from 5 years ago. Did you just cute? Me and my grandkids. Those are the two that come over all the time. Yeah. I'm gonna have to show them that when we're done. Yeah, you know how it is when you're a kid and you see pictures of yourself. You're like, oh man, pictures of me. Am I in that picture? Am I in that picture? Yeah, part of what it is. Yeah. All right. So this matter of fear was written January 1962. I'm in Language of the Heart, page 265 for anybody that would like to follow along. If you don't have the book, you can always grab the PDF. Yeah, you don't have to buy the books. If you have a printer, man. Yeah. Hey. PDFs are free. All right. Most of them are. As the AA book says, fear is an evil corroding thread. The fabric of our lives is shot through with it. Fear is surely a bar to reason and to love, and of course it invariably powers anger, vainglory, and aggression. It underlies maudlin guilt and paralyzing depression. President Roosevelt once made the significant remark that we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. That's actually pretty close. I'm old enough that I kind of remember what President Roosevelt sounded like. And it's played a lot in my music. right? Cult of personality. It's in that. Yeah, cult of personality. A lot of stemming in that song. Love it. All right. There is severe indictment. So listen to all this stuff that fear creates. It's a lot. Anger, vainglory, aggression, modeling guilt, paralyzing depression. That's just a few of the things, right? This is a severe indictment and is possibly too sweeping. For all its usual destructiveness, we have found that fear can be the starting point for better things. Huh. Fear can be a stepping stone to prudence and decent respect for others. It's true. See, fear is it's a base emotion. I'm going to tell you what's going on and why Dion's in a bad mood. It's fears. I love consistency, and my consistency was thrown off this morning. What I usually do. All right, that's why I was 3 minutes late. I just needed a little more time. All right, and so anyway, yeah, and nightmares, man. Not like the ones that I had a few weeks ago, though. Woo. Anyway, of fear, right? So it can be a stepping stone. So I have fear, but I even told my wife, I said, I am not in the best of moods. I'm working on changing it right now. I let people know. It's not like they don't know. I've been yelling at the cats and the dogs. They're on my nerves. Not doing what I want them to do. See, there's the fear. That's the fear. Right? Now I don't really have a plan for it today, but it was just too much and a bunch of questions. I wasn't awake yet, and I don't like a bunch of questions. It started to make me feel overwhelmed, and then I felt overwhelmed. But it's all fear. So, right? So I have a choice. I have a choice at this point on what to do with that fear. And that's exactly what they're talking about right here. That fear can be utilized as a way for motivation. See, pain is the touchstone of almost all change. Not required, just so you know. You don't have to be in pain to make a decision for, character building and humility. Give me a second. I got to close the door because there's a lot of talking going on out there in that there hallway. All right. All right. Oh, so fear can be a stepping stone to prudence and to decent respect for others. It can point the path to justice as well as to hate. And the more we have of respect and justice, the more we shall begin to find the love which can suffer much, yet be freely given. So fear need not always be destructive because the lessons of its consequences can lead us to positive values. Huh. Right? So since I made the decision to change my attitude, and I had to make the decision, and I had to say it out loud. Why did I say that to my wife? It was a 10 step. I was calling myself out. That's what I was doing because I didn't want the rest of the day to go that way. And it was starting to. I even said, "Is this how this day is going to go?" And I thought to myself, "I'm like, no, we're not doing that." Right? Yeah, I was trying to fill up the hand soap while I was going to the bathroom because because I'm thinking I could. And I tried to put the soap under the sink. I tried to put it away, and half the shit fell out, and it pissed me off. See how these little things can build real quickly, real quick. So I had to go back and so what did I talked to my wife. She was the person to talk to on this, and because she's like, "Why are you feeling that way?" And I listed off all the reasons, and of course my mind's blah 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 blah. Right, but now I told on myself it's gone, and it doesn't need to return today. There you go. A pretty big day for me. I got a party. Today's all about me. I should be in a good fucking mood, man. Weird, right? But I still feel those pangs of loneliness sometimes. I do. I feel the pangs, and it isn't anything anybody does. Just sometimes I feel so separated that I don't always feel like I'm a part of. Right now, that's my itty bitty shitty committee talking. It's not true, or people wouldn't show up to do it. They're not required. Nobody's required to be there, right? And I'm telling my story tonight. All right. The achievement of freedom from fear is a lifetime undertaking, one that will be never be wholly completed. When under heavy attack, acute illness, or in other conditions of serious insecurity, we shall all react well or badly, as the case may be. Only the vainglorious claim perfect freedom from fear, though their very grandiosity is really rooted in the fears they have temporarily forgotten. Now, if we can utilize fear as a good thing, then why would you want to ignore it? You can't ignore it. Yeah, you can't ignore the fear. We did that. We already did that. I did it with alcohol. And look how that turned out. Right? Not very well. Right? Therefore, the problem of resolving fear has two aspects. We shall have to try for all the freedom from fear that is possible for us to attain. Then we shall need to find both the courage and the grace to deal constructively with whatever fear remains. Hmm. Trying to understand our fears and the fears of others is but the first step. The larger question is how and where do we go from there? All right. So now we're talking about courage, which would be the opposite of fear in most cases, not always. Sometimes acceptance is needed. Sometimes there's nothing I can do about the fear because I have no control over the outcome of what's going to happen. Hmm. Right? So I can't always control my fear or the outcome of this fear. And that's where acceptance comes in. But there's always some kind of action. There needs to be some kind of action. Today, my action was talking with my wife, coming on here and talking about it a little bit more, confronting it, saying, nah, thanks for trying, but nah. Now, I don't know how you are, but sometimes this alcoholic still doesn't feel like he deserves what he's getting, which is not true. It's not true. All right. Since AA's beginning, I watched as thousands of my fellows became more and more able to understand and transcend their fears. These examples have been in unfailing help and inspiration. Perhaps then some of my own experiences with fear and the shedding of it to an encouraging degree may be appropriate. As a child, I had some pretty heavy emotional shocks. There was a deep family disturbance. I was physically awkward and the like. Huh, I didn't know that about Bill. Of course, other kids had such emotional handicaps and emerged unscathed, but I didn't. Evidently, I was oversensitive and therefore overscared. Anyhow, I developed a positive phobia that I wasn't like other youngsters and never could be. At first, this threw me into depression and thence into isolation of retreat. Man, he's talking my language. Because I never felt like I belonged. And I just became convinced that I just wasn't like other people and I was just going to have to quote unquote deal with that. And then I met alcohol, and alcohol at least let me act like normal people did, but that wouldn't last very long because I have a hard time with being fake. In some instances, that's not totally true. I was fucking fake the whole time. When I have alcohol in me, that seems to go away. I guess that's just gonna be the truth. All right, then I do become fake. I become that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation, right? Good breath. Good breathing. right? But these child miseries, all of them generated by fear, became so unbearable that I turned highly aggressive. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. I used to be very, very, very shy. I was that kid when growing up where my parents would be, oh, he's just shy with strangers. He's just shy with strangers. And I was. Absolutely I was. Now I know I was protecting myself. I kind of figured it out. Right? But as I grew older, got to once I found alcohol, it turned into aggression. It was not, and I was still overly sensitive. Absolutely, I was. But now that overly sensitive came out in anger. It came out in aggression. Because even at a young age, I've had this voice since I was like 18, 19, but I've always had a deep voice, right? So I would turn aggressive. Thinking I could never belong and vowing I'd never settle for any second rate status, I felt I simply had to dominate in everything I chose to do, work or play. That I did not go through. I didn't care what you were. I didn't care. I wanted what I wanted. But I hear what he's saying. If I would have been in a different situation, I might have I still tried to dominate everybody around me. It's just I didn't go to school and do sports. So it was a little different, but I guess I was doing that, right? See how this is? Look at it. I've changed my mind twice on something already. There's always more to discover, right? Doesn't mean I was wrong. It just means I hadn't quite looked at it the way I was supposed to yet. Now that I'm a little bit more open-minded, and instead of blaming other people, I turn inward and be like, Dion, are we doing this? And a lot of times lately it's been, no, I'm not. Huh. It's kind of nice. Not always, though. Not always. As this attractive formula for the good life began to succeed according to my then specifications of success, I became deliriously happy. But when an undertaking occasionally did fail, I was filled with a resentment, depression that could be cured only by the next triumph. Very early, therefore, I came to value everything in terms of victory or defeat, all or nothing. The only satisfaction I knew was to win, and that I get. But my winning had more that I fooled you, I duped you, I tricked you. Yes, that's more along the lines of what I was doing, and I got a thrill out of it. It was exciting for me. Right? When it came to relationships, it was the thrill of the chase. Once the chase was over with, I wasn't really into it anymore. Right? I'm not that way anymore. Clearly, I've been married 14 years. So, yeah. This was my false antidote for fear, and this was the pattern, ever more deeply etched that dogged me through school days. World War One, the hectic drinking career in Wall Street, and down into the final hour of my complete collapse. By that time, adversity was no longer a stimulant, and I knew not whether my greater fear was to live or die. Yeah, at the end there, I didn't know which one was. Actually, I would have to say I feared more of living than I did of dying. That's changed now. Now I have a healthy fear of dying, a healthy fear, right? But these huge waves, these extremes, man, they will tear people apart. All right. Well, my basic fear patterns is a very common one. There are, of course, many others. Indeed, fear manifestations and the problems that trail in their wake are so numerous and complex that in this brief article it is not possible to detail even a few of them. We can only review those spiritual resources and principles by which we may be able to face and deal with fear in any of its aspects, right? What he's saying is there's so many fears that if we even started listing them, it would be too many. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. All right. And I would agree. I mean, we make a fear list, but I find more fears as I go along. And it's a daily thing. Absolutely, I go through. Okay. But now I have a set of tools that allows me to work with it. I don't I don't fight it. I don't run from it. I don't reproach it. I just work with it depending on the situation. Whether it's, me making an amend or just admitting the fact that I'm not getting what I want and it upsets me. It's okay to feel that way, by the way. It's what you do with it that matters, like everything else. In my own case, the foundation stone of freedom from fear is that of faith, and I would agree. That's what it is for me too. I combat my fear with faith because all men of faith have courage, and I am a man of faith. Okay? That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean I'm religious, right? Because everybody seems to kind of have their own definition of what religion is, you know. And I'm finding out more and more that even Jesus, while he was around, wasn't preaching about religion. It was community. He was passing the word. That's what he was doing, right? It was man that took it and formed it into it. Anyway, I'm very off topic, so I'm going to get back to this. Despite all worldly appearances to the contrary, causes me to believe that I live in a universe that makes sense. To me, this means a belief in a creator who is all power, justice, and love. Love it. A God who intends for me purpose, a meaning, a destiny to grow, however little or haltingly, towards his likeness and image. Before becoming of faith, I had lived as an alien in cosmos that too often seemed both hostile and cruel. In it, there could be no inner security for me. Yeah, wow. Who intends a purpose and a meaning. It's important that any human being actually needs purpose in their life. Otherwise, we get stagnant and we unalive ourselves because we don't have purpose in life. Okay. The guy that's out there in the community gang banging, maybe committing crimes, things like that. That person actually has more purpose than the 30-year-old guy hanging out in his mother's basement playing video games all day, alone, isolating. And they're actually contributing more to life than that other person. I know it sounds weird, but they are. Because I'd say it was a good purpose. Well, maybe to them it is. Maybe they feel like they're protecting their neighborhood from a threat. Who knows? I don't live there. How would I know? Right? Anyway, clearly I cannot stay on topic. So it's a good thing I'm telling my story later because that'll never be on any topic. Anyway, Dr. Carl Jung, one of the three founders of modern depth psychology, had a profound conviction upon this great dilemma of the world today. In paraphrase, this is what he had to say about it. Any person who has reached 40 years of age and still has no means of comprehending who he is, where he is, or where he is going next cannot avoid becoming a neurotic to some degree or other. I would not disagree with that because that's what happened to me. This is true whether his youthful drives for sex, marital security, and a place in society have been satisfied or not satisfied. When the benign doctor becoming neurotic, he might just as well have said becoming fear-ridden. Yeah. Yep. This is exactly why we of AA place such an emphasis on the need for faith in a higher power. Define that as we may. We have to find a life in the world of grace and spirit, and this certainly is a new dimension for most of us. Surprisingly, our quest for this realm of being is not too difficult. Our conscious entry into it usually begins as soon as we have deeply confessed our personal powerlessness to go on alone and have made our appeal to whatever God we think there is, or maybe the gift of faith and the consciousness of a higher power is the outcome. As faith grows, so does inner security. The vast underlying fear of nothingness commences to subside. Therefore, we of AA find that our basic antidote for fear is a spiritual awakening. Hi, Amber. Sorry, Cinderella's late. I have to get all my chores done before I go to the party. There's a party. All right. So I was going to read the last part, but it's the end of a story. So we're going to kind of wrap it up there because um, I need to get a couple things done. I need to jump in the shower. I need to get some things done because we're having company. So the opposite of fear is faith, and faith, people of faith have courage, right? And the way that's going to work is you're going to go through some tough things in sobriety, but you're not going to do it alone, and you're going to come out the other side unscathed because you didn't put any of your bullshit in it. And then you're going to do it again, do it. And that's, see, courage is built. It isn't just given. No. You're going to have to find, you're going to have to muster all the willingness and willpower that you have, and you have a lot, just not for alcohol, but you do have it, and go do it. Go do it. Face those snakes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging.